Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Hello and welcome into the latest edition of Sports Spring on Western Spring Television. A whole lot to talk about, of course, coming in from an eventful weekend when it comes to the world of sports in the Nigerian Premier Football League. The match day 3 of the new season was settled across all board on Sunday, and I'm set to give you updates coming in from that angle. Aside from that, in the exciting world of tennis, we know that Herbert Hackers has been able to get the hold of the Shanghai Masters title. Well, congratulations to him right there. All of this and more is what we'll be dishing out to you this beautiful Monday morning. And my name is NENGI ADEMOLA. Thanks for joining me this morning. And I will be connecting to a sports journalist all the way from Benin City this morning so that he will join me in analysis and updates on today's show. And when I'm back from this break, definitely I'll start off from the local scene. We'll be right back. If you're just joining in this morning, you're tuned into Sports Spring on Western Spring Television. And my name once again is NENGI ADEMOLA. Thanks for joining me this morning. Like I did talk about the fact that we'll start off from the Nigerian Premier Football League, giving you updates across all board from the matches played on Saturday and Sunday. And I will be joined by Benin City-based sports journalist who will be joining me this morning, of course, in analysis and update of the Nigerian Premier Football League. Now, the 2023 and 2024 Nigerian Premier Football League season for match day 3 was concluded yesterday across all 7 match venues in the country, with Eyimba, Rangers, Abia Warriors, Shooting Stars and Remy Stars picked up the maximum 3 points. Now, let's get down straight up to the full results are concluded from Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, October 14th, 2023, Bendel Insurance played out a 1-0 victory right there for them against Plateau United, right there in the Samuel Ogbomedia Stadium. Do not forget that this match was slated for last week Wednesday, but was postponed and pushed into the weekend. Now, Katsina United and the Lobby Stars, that game ended in a 0-0 draw right there. Sunshine Stars against Heartland FC, it ended in a 1-1 draw. And I have with me Nosakare Gabriel Iguma, sports journalist all the way from Benin City, joining me this morning. If you can hear me, good morning to you, Nosakare. How are you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling great. Good morning, Nengi. Thanks for having me. All
right, and let's get straight into the business this morning. Let's talk about the Nigerian Premier Football League. I'm sure you heard while I was trying to give updates from the results of full-time matches from Saturday and Sunday. And because you're in Benin City, and I know that you're a huge fan of the Bendel Insurance FC Club of Benin City, let's start off from there. Now, on Saturday, they played out a winning one for them. Was it on Saturday? 1-0 against Plateau United. And like I earlier stated, that match was slated initially for Wednesday last week, but was pushed into the weekend. And as it stands now, Bendel Insurance FC of Benin City are now top of the table after match day 3. What are your thoughts? I mean, are we going to see the Bendel Insurance, get on with what they did in the last abridged league version, where they had the longest unbeaten record in the NPFL?
Well, my thoughts on this is that it's still early days in the league. I mean, it's a marathon, 38 games, 38 weeks, and this is just the second game for Better Insurance, while the league itself is on just the 3rd week. And Better Insurance have played double home matches, that is 2 home matches. They've not gone away from home. So it's easy to say that the run from last season will continue. Looking at the way it is, and other things coming into play, I think it's going to be keenly contested season. Nobody has held on to the #1 position for more than 1 week since the inception of the league. Sporting Lagos was there at some point.
Yeah.
They are currently in the 6th position right now, so to speak. And you look at Remo Stars, who went away, in my opinion, against all odds yesterday, and picked a maximum points away from home, 1-2 goes to 1. So you understand that, of course, it's going to be a very long and keenly contested season. And for Better Insurance, my dearly beloved Better Insurance, I do hope sincerely that they would continue the form that they did. I mean, the unbeaten run last season. I don't expect them to go all the way, but I mean, at some point, consistency should be there. Maybe go 9-10 games in a row, and then you cannot say for sure they've got something at stake. Maybe going back to the continent again. But the new boys in the league, talking about Sporting Lagos, and even Kano, should not call Kano Pillars the new boys. Of course, they just get promotion back. I think they've been somewhat consistent and showing some level of tendencies to go all the way and also put up a very good fight in the league. So it's still early days. It's still very, very early to call the shots right now. For Better Insurance, they are quite struggling right now. Of course, players have moved and some in as well, trying to settle in. The goals are not coming. In 2 games so far, they've only got 3 goals. So you'd expect, okay, and probably they're going to struggle in front of goals. But I do hope sincerely that that will be sorted out as soon as possible.
And you did talk about the expectations. I mean, you talked about your expectations for Bendel Insurance FC this season, but I wasn't too clear with that. Now, can you specifically talk about that a little bit? What are your expectations for Bendel Insurance this season? I mean, despite the fact that, okay, they are not too clinical in front of goal and they would need to work on that aspect. Are you expecting them to get into the Super 6 of this year's campaign, and if possible, get a hold of the title this time around?
Yeah, like you mentioned, every fan of any team will definitely hope that his or team will win the league. That's the hope, and for anybody who is supporting any club. But looking at it holistically and realistically, the way it is right now, I think I haven't seen the way other teams have seen the way Better Insurance play and their tactics. So when they're coming up against Better Insurance, they're going to come up with their own tactics to somewhat get a result from Better Insurance. So it's not going to be easy for them like it was. I won't say last season was easy, but it's not going to be an easy ride for them. Okay. So I'm expecting them to finish in a respectable position in the league this season. Yeah, winning the league would be maybe massive for them. That would be like icing on the cake. But finishing in the continental position, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th would definitely be, of course, a successful season for Better Insurance. Better Insurance won the FA Cup last time out. They were in Super 6 and they were played in the continent. They were eliminated in the 2nd round of qualifiers against RS Berkane of Morocco. I think all teams put together, my expectation personally, and looking at the way the team setup is for them to finish in a respectable among the top 4 teams that will be participating in the continent.
Okay. Now let's switch away from Bendel Insurance and talk about Enyimba FC. Of course, they won the title the last time, but not too successful this time around for the CAF Champions League, as they were outstarred very early. Now let's talk about their performance. So far, so good. After match day 1, 2, and 3. Now, I think they had their very first win coming in this weekend. I mean, do you see Enyimba FC as a title contender in this new season?
We are talking about the most successful team from the Nigerian Premier League. So make no mistake, they are always a contender anytime, any day, any season. Let's not forget that this same Enyimba lost to Better Insurance last season in the league. At home. So they eventually went on to win the league, and they could start off scrappy and not so in a very good form, but they always managed to get their things together. I think the judge is doing something with that team that I am really admiring. He's putting together a squad that no matter what, they always, of course, gather together and come back stronger. And that will be, of course, the catalyst for their success coming up. They did, of course, missed it in the Champions League, where I was expecting them to probably get in the group stage.
Exactly.
And I think they went. I think what went wrong for them in that regard was the fact that they weren't prepared in terms of active matches for the team. He wasn't really there. They were just a couple of friendly matches here and there, and you know, the league in the other part of the continent was on, so the other boys were active. The opponents were more active compared to them. I think that's what happened to them in the continent, and they were ousted in the very early stage. So for Enyimba, quite too early to call the shot. Like I said, generally for all the teams in the league right now, quite too early. But they are always a title contender anytime, any day.
All right, those are the thoughts of Nosakari Iguma this morning. The sports journalist who has joined me, of course, to give you update and more analysis when it comes to the Nigerian Premier Football League. Now, Nosakari Iguma is currently with us, and still talking about the NPFL. Of course, they say charity begins at home, and that's why we're starting from updates coming in from the NPFL. Now, let's talk about Sporting Lagos, the new boys in the league. Now, you talked about the fact that you were talking about the expectations, of course, for Bendel Insurance, and you were like, holistically and realistically, you just want them to finish maybe in the top 4. And of course, if possible, if they can get a hold of the title, then good luck to them. Now, Sporting Lagos FC, before they came on board, before the season, they did make it clear that they are coming in for the title. Is that a realistic aim for Sporting Lagos in this new season?
It is very realistic. It is very realistic. I
mean, judging from the fact that they're just coming in on board.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes football doesn't really work that way. That's why they call it, it's like a biscuit. You never can tell where it's going to break from. But for Sporting Lagos, first thing first, I think they want to incite the belief in everybody around them, from the fans to the players, to the technical crew, and even to their opponents. You know, somewhat strike fear into them when, of course, you make last statement like that. Very bold and confident statement like that.
Yeah.
But for Sporting Lagos, is it gonna be easy? No. Is it impossible? It's not impossible. So for them, I feel that they've got everything it takes. They've done business, brought in some established players as well to boost their rank. And if they are going to win the league, because they'll probably need to even reinforce more in the January transfer window. And let's not forget that they dropped points at home in Lagos over the weekend.
Yeah,
they dropped points. They played at this cholesterol. So it's going to, like I said, it's going to be very, very difficult for them. They are a new team, and somewhat they are going to struggle when the going gets tough. I mean, the second round will come, and of course, matches will be there. I think what will work for them more than the established team is the fact that they are not playing in the continent. There's no other side competition that will sort of distract them or create fatigue for the boys. Unlike Enyimba, who will be playing the CAF Super League, that you want to call it the African Football League, that has been renamed. Yeah, so you see him by trying to struggle with all of those matches and at the same time focus on the league. So it's going to be there. And the fact that it's a private team, maybe they might not get to winning. I think it's first of all trying to draw the attention and bring belief to the team and the players and everybody around them.
Okay.
And the fact that they're a private team, they need statements like that. They need sort of some of these big and loud statements just to create belief and gain traction as well. So looking at it the way it is impossible? No, it's not impossible. Is it going to be easy? No, it's not going to be easy. But I do tell you that it is very, very possible for them to win. And it's still open for anybody at the moment. All right,
there you have it from Nosakari Iguma, talking about the fact that that is a very realistic aim for Sporting Lagos in the new 2023 and 2024 NPFL season. Now, let's leave the NPFL aside and get into other updates coming in this time from the Super Eagles camp. Nosakari, you saw the match between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and Saudi Arabia. That game ended in a 2-2 draw. Quickly, what are your thoughts about it? Because at some point, it was everybody. I mean, the word on the street was the fact that Saudi Arabia are no team built up near the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And of course, with the kind of display and performance we've had during the AFCON qualifiers, we expected that the Super Eagles of Nigeria would definitely dismantle Saudi Arabia, but that game ended in a 2-2 draw. Quickly, let me have your thoughts on that before we talk about the game for today.
Well, let's create an impression or correct an impression. The Saudi Arabia thing is not pushed over by any means. They are of course, Asian champion, or that's Asian, sorry. They are the champions from their own region, and they are doing very well. They have a manager who has seen it and done it all in the world of football, Roberto Mancini. And for you to bring a man like that to be your coach, it means you have a lot going for you. Not just the money, and I mean there's prospect in that team. You look at the way they play, the beauty of their play was the fact that the fluidity from the flanks, the way they were pushing the ball from the flanks, our defenders were struggling against them. Kevin Bassey at some point was everywhere, and we're throwing, conceding set piece left, right, and center because we had no answers to the way their fluid attack and wing play was coming at us. So for Saudi Arabia, they are also a big team. There's no minor in world football today. I can tell you that for free. There's no minor. Underrate any team at your own peril.
Yeah.
On the balance of play and looking at record and history between both nations and between achievement, you definitely want to give the Super Eagles an edge over Saudi Arabia. But that doesn't, history doesn't play football, does it? It doesn't. And the way it is right now, it is the current set of Super Eagles. The beauty for me, or what I take from that game, is the fact that we have strikers now. We have people that can score. We know that if we are creating 5 chances in a game, we are going to bury at least 3 because of the quality of strikers that we have. But you want to look at other departments in the game, from the midfield down to the defense. Are we getting it right there? Even to the goalkeeping position.
Yeah.
Have we gotten it right there? We've not gotten it right. From the goalkeeper, I still feel that we don't have a standing number 1 yet. At some point, during the time of former coach Guinea, Maduka Okoye was number 1. And as soon as, of course, Maduka Okoye, the coach was playing, Maduka Okoye fell out of favor and he wasn't really active. And they had to bring in Danny Akpeyi. And of course, that's when, of course, Ose Basero came in, Danny Akpeyi and a couple of other goalkeepers. You look at the goalkeeping position, it is where we need to focus on as soon as possible and sort out that issue before the African Cup of Nations. Before that game on Friday, Danny Akpeyi haven't had any competitive game in the past 8 games for his club. He hasn't seen any minutes. And you look at the way his club is structured, you would understand what I'm trying to say, that he also probably have time if he wasn't playing the second fiddle to, of course, goalkeeper in his club. So apart from the goalkeeping position, we still don't have 2 bankable central defenders that we can say, these people, for sure, we know that they are the ones that was going to hold the line right there in the central defense. If you look at the Italian setup, before now you get to see Leonardo Bonucci partnering, of course, the other man right there. And but you look at other teams, they've got at least 2 bankable players in every position. Apart from the attack right now, nothing. The defensive midfield position, one that has given us headaches so much. It is where, of course, Wilfred Ndidi is playing. And if you notice, as soon as Wilfred Ndidi fizzles out in the game, maybe gets tired, jet lag or something, you see the lapses coming in from the midfield. That's because he is the only combative or defensive midfielder in the team. You look at the other players around him, they are all creative, from Alex Iwobi down to Joe Aribo, they are all creative. None of them has got that defensive ability. So these are the positions that I feel that we're exposed to see the problems, challenges facing the Super Eagles right now that we need to sort out as soon as possible. Before the African Cup of Nations, if we are going to get anything out of it. The game against Saudi Arabia, of course, has shown to us over and over again that we need to sort out all this position and work on all this position. And also, I'll give kudos to the attackers. They are doing massive job right now. I think that's the only place I can tell you that for sure, we are definitely going to get something. They can't keep the team running, but for how long?
All right, let's talk a bit more about the goalkeeping position. You did talk about the fact that, what's his name now? Fine boy Maduka Okoye fell out of favor. And this time around, if you'd notice, before the friendly match against Saudi Arabia, I mean, some of our players were caught up with injury, and they left the likes of Ola Aina, the likes of Nottingham Foresters, what's his name now? Taiwa Woniyi, who is currently in a blistering form. And aside from that, I think Jamilu Collins was also out, and definitely they were replaced. And the surprise package for it all before the friendly matches started was Maduka Okoye, who was being called back into the squad. And as soon as that match was played against Saudi Arabia, of course, criticism kept pouring in concerning Francis Uzor and the kind of errors he made in that particular game. Now, do you feel that Maduka Okoye might, get a chance in the second game, which is slated for today?
That error from, of course, Daniel playing goal probably is something that can happen to anybody. He misjudged the flight of the ball, and the ball was wavy. If you look at the way it was played, the way it was hit by the person that took the set piece, he actually misjudged the flight of the ball and the position of the ball. Hence the reason why, of course, that blunder happened. But over time, has Zin really given us that performance that we can really be saying, well, let's just let this go. And of course, it's just a one-off, a flash in the pan. Let's just let it go. No, he hasn't. His performance haven't really given Nigerians that confidence to bank on him at any point in time. And you look at the other players, the other goalkeepers that are available, I still feel that we still cannot bank on Maduka Okoye. Maybe he might get this chance today. He hasn't also proven to Nigerians or anybody convincingly that he can hold down that number one position. Maybe it's time for us to look inwards. I always ask myself, why invite players that you cannot use or you're not going to use at the end of the day? Joe Olorokere, of course, was invited. He wasn't used and unused, and I'm very sure that today he will not get any minute. And now, previously, John Noble, who has moved on from being by goalkeeper, was also invited, and I mean, he has been invited a couple of times. No cap for him. I mean, he hasn't even gone as far as having in 2-3 minutes play for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. You look at other goalkeepers as well that are available from the home front that has been invited. None of them have been tried.
Exactly.
And the Remo Stars goalkeeper also have been invited previously. None. And we have a fantastic goalkeeper also in insurance, Amas Obasege. He hasn't even gotten an invitation. I mean, these are players, goalkeepers that you can actually bank on. Probably you can try and with games like this to restructure that part of the team. I understand that the target is to win the African Cup of Nations, although the NFF has said that the semi-final is where they, of course, are giving in.
All right.
But my thought, I hope that they sort this out as soon as possible. And for Maduka Okoye, if he do get this opportunity again,
all right.
I hope that he will be able to put on something. Of course, I hold down that number one position. All
right. Now, before we let you go, just lastly, what are your thoughts on Onome Ebi getting called up to join the Niger Rattles side? She now has a club rather in the NWFL side, which is the Niger Rattles.
Congratulations to her. I was reading an article, I think yesterday evening, on her being, in quotes, an old guard, like they call her now. She's 40. I think coming back home to play for the Nigerian Women's Premier League is something that is really good.
Okay.
Maybe this is not a playing signing. It is more of motivation and endorsement.
Okay.
Not from her on the side of Nigerian Rattles. I think whatever, I don't even think the way that she will be earning, if she will be earning at all, of course she has to earn, that's what the rule says. But whatever she will be earning is not the main target. It's not even playing time. I'm very sure that it's for other reasons. Maybe to also contribute and put out to the growth of football from the home front.
All right.
And also attract other stars as well who are also winding down their career to come play in the home front and attract other investors into the league as well. When you have someone like Onome Ebi playing for Nigeria Rattles, fans will want to go see her. She's got fans. I mean, she will want to definitely go to the pitch and see her. And of course, that gate tickets and tickets is right there. And endorsement too, jerseys will go out and all that. So there are so many reasons, other sporting reasons apart from playing reasons why she was signed. I don't think they brought her in for just playing, but I think they just brought her in for other reasons as well. All right,
Nosakare Iguma, we must thank you very much for sticking with us this morning and joining me in giving updates and analysis for the local scene. Thank you very much once again. Do have a beautiful day ahead.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
All right. We just connected, of course, to a Benin City-based sports journalist, and we talked at length about the Nigerian Premier Football League. Aside from that, we did talk about the friendlies which the Super Eagles of Nigeria have been engaging in. The one they engaged with Saudi Arabia ended in a 2-2 draw, and today stands to be against Mozambique. And we know that Mozambique has lost about 3 key players. And we also know that the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be without the services of Victor Osimhen and Kelechi Iheanacho. We do hope for a better outing today against Mozambique. We talked about Onome Ebi, who has now joined the NWFL side, Niger Rattles. And you heard it from the sports journalist, Nosakare Iguma. In his thought, he's saying that, you know, it might not just be for playing time, but definitely for the motivational won in that team. Now, moving away from that, because we've spent far enough time, let's get into the world of unlimited sports as it concerns Nigeria. Now, the Nigerian Wrestling Federation, in conjunction with the Nigerian Olympic Committee, have commenced a level 3 IOC coaching course for the coaches, referees of the Nigerian Wrestling Federation, that's the NWF, to help develop the sport in the country. Well, a very nice one coming in, and a very nice update coming in from that angle. And aside from that, let's also inform you that the Yellow Greens of Nigeria, that's the cricket team of Nigeria, are now the champions for the West African Trophy Tour. Now, it was jubilation galore at the Tafawa Balewa Cricket Oval in Lagos on Sunday evening as Nigerians Yellow Greens emerged as the winner of the maiden edition of the West African Tour. On their way, they defeated the likes of Rwanda, Sierra Leone, Ghana, and finally, of course, they are on the winning side. So congratulations to them. And lastly, let's give you an update coming in from the UFC. Israel Adesanya is set to take a break from the UFC. And of course, the former UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya has announced a sabbatical from fighting professionally a month after losing his belt, but promised to return to the sport. The Kiwi fighter lost his middleweight championship to Sean Strickland by unanimous decision in Sydney in September in one of the biggest upsets MMA has ever seen. And of course, they did talk about the fact that that fight, of course, there would be a rematch between himself and Sean Strickland. But right now, the update coming in and reported across all dailies is the fact that former UFC middleweight champion Israel Adesanya has announced a sabbatical from fighting professionally. Well, we wish him all the best, and we do hope that he comes back sooner than later. Well, that's it. Updates coming in from the local scene and, of course, from the world of unlimited sports as it concerns Nigeria. We'll go on a quick break right now. Recall that there is a 2-week international break, of course, because of international friendlies, and of course for the Euros 2024 qualifiers. So let's give you much highlights coming in from the weekend, as most of the teams, about 7 teams, have been able to qualify for the Euros 2024. We'll be right back.